Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? Look at the snow, it's a glistening. It's a beautiful sight. We're maybe not that happy tonight, watching in a Darrington Press wonderland. What's up, my happy holiday nerds? It is I, the Grinch that stole Christmas, the OGGM, coming to you live from Ventura, California. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from Calabasas, the hometown of Critical Role. It's Thursday. It's time for Dagger Heart Beats. Bam! Yep, still keeping that title. I should probably make a shirt or something. That's right, Dagger Heart Beats, and it has not been a good week / month for our friends and neighbors over at Critical Role. But I'll still take free swag, Critical Role, if you want to give it to me, because, you know, I talk about you more than pretty much anybody else right now. So let's take a look at what's going on with Darrington Press this week. Has there been any updates in the most anticipated tabletop role-playing game of the year? Or not? Because I think that's probably kind of losing its steam. So let's check the numbers first, see how they did on Twitch this week since the last time we checked. Okay, so in the past 7 days, they have had one thing go up on Twitch. That was Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 79, that premiered on the 7th. That's it. That's the only thing that's been up at Twitch in the last week. Meanwhile, on the Tube of You, they had Four-Sided Dice, Episode 19. Four-Sided Dice is the show where they basically get around and talk about the last episode of Critical Role. This was 2 hours and 38 minutes, and it had 245K views. Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 79 on YouTube had 285K views at 3 hours and 59 minutes. And Mitts Blood Ties Season 2, Episode 6, their weird little podcast, had 11K views. 11K views. Probably another experiment that failed. The last episode of CANDELA Obscura, by the way, 139K views. 139K views. More people turned out for them talking about the last episode of Critical Role than turned out to watch them actually play a game. And if you're wondering how good the show is, well, I've had several people contact me and tell me it's not, that it feels tired and forced, and just despite the quality of the actors, doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, which is not surprising. I mean, I said it before, CANDELA Obscura is a niche within a niche within a niche, and that niche is not Critical Role's target fan base. So yeah. Meanwhile, over at Dagger Heart, nothing. There has been no new news in the Dagger Heart world. Nothing has been updated on the Critical Role Darrington Press site in a couple days. The last thing they posted was the fact that they're having a Christmas sale. The Critical Role second annual Christmas Can't Miss sale. This is stuff on sale if you happen to live someplace that has a Critical Role shop. Yes, those exist. Plus, anything on the website is marked off. Perhaps the biggest news, other than, of course, the reviews of CANDELA Obscura, is they sort of slid it under the wire, but they announced that they are doing a collectible card game, kind of based sort of on Pokemon. This is being brought to us by a company called Universe's Collectible Cards. Let's go. I'll show you that in a second. But damn. So, yeah, you'll notice that there's no mention of this on the Darrington Press site. Very little news about this so far. So far, I've only seen character sheet at comicbook.com mention it. So they're coming out with a Vox Machina themed and a Mighty Nine themed deck. 2 challenge series of these things. Wait, what do we know about it? It doesn't really tell us anything about the actual game. Just that they're making one. Now, this is brought to you for the same company who's brought you the Girl Power collectible card game, the Godzilla collectible card game, and the Attack on Titan collectible card game. And yes, I didn't know those existed either, which doesn't say a lot for these guys. So they also make the UFC collectible card game. I mean, UFC, the MMA. You can start pre-ordering them right now. You might be able to find them soon at your local game shop. We're looking for this to come out sometime in March 21st of 2024. And just doesn't tell us anything about it. Doesn't tell us the rules, how it works. Is it a deck building game? Is it a CCG? Is it some type of combination of them? What is this collectible card game of the Critical Role, and why now? Why now? Feels like it's a little late. I mean, that probably should have been the first market you jumped on into once you started making Critical Role product. Now, this is a good idea because it's very easy to make Critical Role a collectible card game. The artwork's, out there, and the actual people at Darrington Press don't have to really do a lot of anything other than give some input, and play test it. And hopefully we'll see a play test live on the Twitter, right? Plus, this opens a door for the Etsy artists. Something we talked about when we talked about the cards for Dagger Heart is we know Etsy artists make a lot of money off of personalizing tat associated with licenses. There's a lot of DA. Hold on. Hello? Hello? I'm fine, thank you. Can I help you? Phone tell, yeah. I would have stayed on the line and messed with them, but I was talking to you guys. So yeah, Etsy artists can dump. Here's another thing where Etsy artists can make personalized things. I want all special cards in my Mighty Nine deck based upon the characters from Mighty Nine, and here's some Etsy artists who will do them for me. So bam. So that opens. No, it was health insurance. But thanks, Anthony. Friends, yeah. Friends, have you talked with your loved ones about your car's extended warranty? No, it was health insurance. Yeah, but on the other hand, is there a market for a Critical Role collectible card game? I mean, what am I saying? Of course there is. The same people who buy anything else Critical Role branded will buy this. So it'll have an initial rush of funds, but long term, it'll probably have the same lifespan of every other collectible card game that hasn't been Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic the Gathering. Anybody remember the Star Wars collectible card game? The Battlestar Galactica collectible card game? Most importantly, Bella Sarah? No. I mean, could this ever compete with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic? Doubtful. Is it some free, easy stuff for critters to get? Sure. Is it some free, easy money for Critical Role to make off of this? Sure. Is it another sign that they're spreading themselves too thin? Abso-fucking-lutely. And that brings us to the core of this week's talk about our friends at Critical Role, Darrington Press. Spreading themselves too thin and not focusing on one or two products is not a good sign. And they are depending upon the fan base to carry them through. They are showing, I played with a guy who created Legend of the Five Rings. Legend of the Five Rings is still a good CCG. I don't know where it stands, though, in the popularity. But yeah, spreading themselves too thin. So right now they've got Campaign 3. They've got Vox Machina animated. They've got Mighty Nine animated. They've got a video game. They've got Critical Role TV. They've got CANDELA Obscura TV. They've got Myths TV. Then they've got all the one-shots they do. So already there are 9 video productions that they working on. On the Darrington Press store, there's a plethora of games that they seem to make and then kind of abandon. We've got Till the Last Grasp, Girls After Midnight, all the other games that they've made, and plus, of course, Dagger Heart, Illuminated Worlds, and the epic failure that seems to be Candle Obscura. And as we've seen this week, remember, Candle Obscura was going to be out just in time for Halloween. It came out in November. It came out around November 14th, which meant people who had their copies of it in their hands by the, shipped to them by the first or second week of December. So we had people reading through it to the first and second week of December. And now we have people doing the reviews, and the reviews are not good. Even from people who you think would slaver over this because they are chronic Critical Role fans are saying it's bad. It's unfinished. It's just a waste of space. There are games that did this the same thing better. It is a poorly done copy, cut and paste of a much better game, Blades in the Dark, which is an excellent copy and paste of Powered by the Apocalypse, which they already did stuff with Powered by the Apocalypse. So why not you just focus more on making stuff for Powered by the Apocalypse instead of Candle Obscura? Because Candle Obscura is not doing well. Visual fans of Critical Role are saying Candle Obscura is just bad. It's just bad television. It's uninteresting. It feels forced. And everybody seems tired. Again, spread too thin. And it's also starting to show on campaign 3. People are starting to point out, mistakes, how people just seem tired, how the emphasis and excitement seems to be there, that the stories seem to not be going in the direction people thought they would go. The Critical Role, so they put all this energy, they backed Candle Obscura for the past year, and Candle Obscura seems to have been a failure. It's not really selling, and the reviews are awful. I mean, sure, the critters will buy it because it's Critical Role, but people who are buying it it's just going to sit on the shelf. So what they should have done, I think we all agree, is spent this year either showing us live play test of Dagger Heart to keep that interest in Dagger Heart going, or give us the Illuminated Worlds core rulebook, and those, because Candle Obscura has been three campaigns. Candle Obscura should have been one of the sample worlds for Illuminated Worlds, but there should have been 2 others. Campaign 1 should have been, here's Candle Obscura, one of the many worlds that is in the upcoming Illuminated World sourcebook. Week 2 should have been, campaign 2 should have been, here's, modern day, our take on cyberpunk or whatever. And number 3 should have either been fantasy or space. Probably fantasy, because that's their core audience, is still fantasy. That does seem to be what people are saying, including actual Critical Role fans, at least the few that have come talk to me and not threatened me. It was a mistake. Candle Obscura, horror is a niche. And Candle Obscura is the genre that Candle Obscura embraces, the Victorian urban arcana, is a niche within a niche. And that niche was not the Critical Role fan base. So, people are just saying it's badly made, it's cardboard cutout, and it just feels tired. And the reviews are showing that. So, yeah. Now, going into 2024, Dagger Heart, has Dagger Heart lost its place as the most anticipated role-playing game of 2024? Well, thankfully, our friends of ENWorld have just put up the list of the most anticipated tabletop role-playing games for 2024. And guess what's not on it anymore? Yep, right now they're saying the Pendragon might be the most anticipated. So what is your most anticipated RPG for 2024? Right now the list is obviously number 1, Dungeons and Dragons. Number 2, number 2 is still Dagger Heart. Pendragon's on there for some reason. And then of course, we've got Matt Colville, we've got Tales from the Valiant, we've got the Doom, we've got the Diablo, we've got the Brendan Sanderson, we've got the Assassin's Creed, we've got the Gloomhaven, but none of those are all, none of those are gonna, be tabletop role playing, most anticipated tabletop role playing game of 2024. And does D&D 2024 count as a new game? So there's a lot of anticipations behind Dagger Heart, but it kind of feels like that's already come and gone. Now, Dagger Heart was play tested at PAX. Bob Worldbuilder got a chance to play it, and he liked what he saw. Professor Dungeon Master got a chance to play it, and he liked what he saw. Jeannie D finally got her chance to play it, but she's being close-lipped about it, so maybe it's not as bad as we think. It does contain a lot of mechanics people have problems with, which date back to the Powered by the Apocalypse mentality. So, and it still does feel very gimmicky. It's a lot of buzzwords, as my friend Aaron says. So, yeah. So that's the Dagger Heart Beats this week. Candle Obscura, as I said, is fading to obscurity. Get it? Fading to obscurity. Get it? No. Okay. Fading to obscurity. It was a mistake. It was just, the system feels unfinished. It's not getting the reviews that they thought they would get. It's not getting the backing from the fan base they thought they would get. The show feels tired and just wrong. And, the actual game reviews are basically, why was this game made? What were you trying to do? This is a game that seems to hate itself. Even fans are saying this feels preachy. Here's a game where you're actually saying, play this game this way or you're playing it wrong. And repeating that over and over and over again. And plus, it's supposed to be about horror, but then, it's all about safety and stuff like that, which is sort of, this is a whole separate topic, but it feels like just sort of a jumble of ideas that wasn't coherently put together, written as a sort of loving homage to a much better game. And people are saying, at this point, you could play this niche of a niche horror game, or you could just spend less on the much more well-established horror games like Call of Cthulhu or Vesson or, whatever. So it's not been a good week for our friends at Critical Role, and it's not been a good week for Dagger Heart, and it's definitely not been a good week for Candle Obscura, which is, as we fading to obscurity. I'll stop using that joke when I hit 2,000 subs. That's it. Not to say that, hey, Critical Role over there in Calabasas, I'll take some free swag if you want to support me. At this point, I talk about you probably more than anybody else in my neck of the woods. So, yeah, not a good week. Let's see where they are a week from now with the Christmas rush beginning. That's it for Candle Obscura Dagger Heart Beats. If you've got any topics Critical Role related you want to talk about, let me know. Otherwise, let's move on. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.